Hey guys, Scryptik here, doing another DIY video for the folks over at diyfishkeepers.com. I said I'd get a video up of my moonlight, so let's get it going. Right here, you'll see my hood. I've torn apart my moonlight to show everybody how I put it together. This is just a standard hood. Mine's 4 feet long. It's on a 55-gallon tank. On the other side here is the moonlight. Grab the camera here, we'll give you an idea what it looks like. These are the LED strips. I've got another member over on the forums that have happened to use these very recently and posted a video about them. His name is Tree. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too bad for you, bud. What these are is LED strips. I've got pure blue. They are, I don't know how to word it here, as blue can get. They're not light blue by any means. They're actually a very royal blue. These come from AutoZone. I specifically buy them from AutoZone because the other places I've looked, they don't have this rubber coating on the top of it. These are completely waterproof, so God forbid if anything splashed up. I do have a splash guard, but if anything did get up there, it would not damage anything. I'm going to show you a little bit of how to wire these together. The lights that I have here are, it's a 24-foot install kit. It comes in two 12-inch sections. I've spaced them out pretty far. It took me a little bit to get this right. I was actually using masking tape over the top of them before I permanently secured them to the reflector of the light here. You can cut these. There's not a reason to in my case, but if you look really, really close here, it's hard to see, but this is actually a picture of a pair of scissors. You could cut straight across here. The only downfall is you would lose the waterproofing unless you put some silicone or something else over top of it. What you would do is you would cut this in half, space these out where you want them, and then you would go back and put a piece of wire from this copper to this copper, and then from this to this. What that does is it allows it to continue to circuit. These can be chained to have 6 sets running off of one power supply. They run on standard 12 volt. Like I said, these are used in the automotive industry. Here in the States, I'm not sure about everywhere else, but I'm pretty sure they all run on a 12 volt system. These come with a lengthy amount of wire here, and I will show you how I've wired them up. Let me set the camera down, we'll get started. Alright, first thing I did was I measured out where I wanted to place these. Then I went in and I took the screws out from the reflector. Mine has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws. I removed them. That way I can pull out the reflector. I've also, as you can see, there's no bulb in here. I removed the bulb and left it in the house. I'm out in the garage. I didn't want to break it. They're not cheap, and I, to be honest, didn't want to break it. After pulling the reflector out, you can see that inside here, the mechanics to make the bulb itself work, the standard bulb that comes with the tank. I did not use the power supply. This power supply runs on 110, and the bulb takes 110 to power. The LEDs take 12 volts, so I used a 12 volt power supply that I just happen to have laying around the house. You can get them at Radio Shack, you can get them Best Buy, just a standard 12 volt power supply. We'll get this pushed in here and out of the way a little bit so I can show you the install features. A couple of things you're going to need before you get started is, I personally like having a switch to be able to turn it on and off. This is just a standard toggle switch, also available from AutoZone. Total price that I had to pay, seeing as I already had the power supply laying around the house, the LED itself, $20 US. The toggle switch, $3 US. It's not anything special. It's just a switch on, off. Another thing you'll need, of course, is electrical tape. Just standard electrical tape. I use this to do all the wiring. Yep, that's about it. How I did this was, let me grab the camera. Let me show you the power supply real quick. This is the power supply. You can't read it. I'm sorry. I can't get the camera to focus on it any better than that. This is a 12 volt DC power supply. 110 in, 12 volts out. Alright, now I'll show you a little bit about the setup. What I've done is I've drilled a couple holes back here. The small hole here is for the power cord. The large hole is for the toggle switch. The hole here is a 3/4 inch hole. Sorry, I'm going to use caveman terms. Nothing I can do about that for you guys. Set this back down. See if I can get a better picture here for you guys. Sorry, I'm out in the garage. It's very hot out right now. I'm trying to do this as quick as I can without killing myself. Whoops. Turn this on an angle a little bit so you can see a little better. See if I can set this a little bit for you guys. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Let me slide the product down then. You guys should be able to see that. What I did with the power supply is I hacked the end off. You don't need the end, we need the bare wires. This is not plugged in right now, by the way. Don't plug it in and try to do this. You're going to zap yourself. It's only 12 volts. Might tingle just a little bit though. The first thing I did was I took the power cord here and I fed it through the small hole I drilled underneath the original power cord. Pull enough up to where you can have enough to work with here. You can always pull it back out after you're done. There. Just thread it through here. The next thing I did, sorry, it's really hard to shoot in the garage, guys. Slide this out here. Alright, for the actual power cords that, I'm sorry, not power cords, the wiring that comes from the LEDs themselves, I just flip them up over the edge. It's not going to hurt them. I'm not going to have any issues with it. Anything like that. You want to keep them fairly tight, but you don't want to over tighten them. What I did was I just wrapped them around the edge. I'll grab the camera and I'll show you what I mean. I wrapped them around the edge of the reflector. Right here. I left it loose enough that it's not going to cut and pinch here, but tight enough that it's not going to hang down. For now, you'll see the back here. I'll just take a piece of electrical tape and just tape it down enough to hold it into place. It's not going to stay, it's just temporary. I will be pulling that right back off. Switch back down. Let me quick. Sorry guys, a little bit of technical difficulty there real quick. Where I left off was I was taping off the other side with a piece of electrical tape. I've done the same to this side and we will continue. Grab the camera here and we'll try to figure out where I left off. What I've done is, like I said, I've taped the wiring to the back here, just temporarily to hold it into place. Like I said, it's not permanent, it's not going anywhere. Then I fed the positive for the LEDs and the positive for the power supply through the hole from the back, so I could wire on the toggle switch. They typically come with 3 legs here. 2 are usually silver. I'm sorry, the video cut off as I was actually filming, and I already put this all back together. I figured it'd be easier just to show you guys it together versus trying to show you exactly every step I took. The 2 that are taped off here are both silver. This one is copper. Copper is generally the ground. With LEDs, they don't actually need to be grounded. There is no need for it. There's actually no ground wire that comes with it. So what I did was I took the 2 positives from the LEDs and I taped it to one leg, one silver leg. Then I took the positive from the power supply and taped it to the other leg. That way I have a switch here, on, off, on, off. After you get this wire together, you can feed this back through the hole, the 3/4 inch hole I've drilled. There's some tabs on here. I don't know how well you can see these. You actually can. The 2 tabs here are what actually hold it into place. So as I push this in, they will spring and click. The inside here, they are clicked into place. As well, like I said, the video cut off on me. For ease, it was easier just to go ahead and continue explaining what I've done versus actually showing it to you. These here are the negatives for the LEDs. There's 2 of them, and a negative for the power supply. What I did was I bared the wires, I twisted all these together and taped it. So to show you guys how it works, let me quickly try to plug this back in. Oh, power supply down here. Now if you wire these incorrectly, you'll know very quick it will not light up. So if you wire this all together and hit the switch and it doesn't power up, go ahead, the first thing you're going to want to check is to check that you have the positive going here from the power supply and then the negative from the power supply going to the negatives. If they're wrong, it's not going to work at all. It won't harm anything, it's not going to hurt you, but it just will not power up the LEDs. So like I said, if you happen to run into that, what you're going to want to do is undo your wiring and flip the power supply wiring. Set this back into place here real quick, and we are plugged in, and we are going to hit the switch, and voila, we have moonlight. So if there's going to be any other questions, like I said, I hit some technical issues there. If we have a problem and somebody doesn't quite understand, I can go ahead and refilm it with every step that I took. It's not difficult. It's basically A to B. Twist A to B, and then again twist A to B. Make sure you tape everything up. It is electricity. Make sure you are not actually twisting wires together while it is plugged in. It's only 12 volts, like I said a few times now, but we don't need anybody hurt, please. I don't want to see anybody get hurt trying to do a simple LED install. Now, as far as these are pretty bright, I have a 55-gallon tank that these are on, so it is approximately 22 inches above the actual water. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. 22 inches above the bottom of the tank. There's about 3 inches between these and the actual water level. If your tank isn't that tall, I would suggest putting some sort of dimmer on. The type of dimmer that I would use in this installation, you can find them at Radio Shack, any electronics store. You don't want to use one that goes to home wiring, because those are designed to limit 120 volts here in the States, 240 I believe everywhere else, and it's not going to work. There's not enough voltage running through here for your typical household dimmer to be able to dim it. They're either going to be on or off. The thing that I was referring to is called a pentiometer. It is a dimmer for very low voltage. They're available, like I said, at pretty much any major electronics store. Electronics being wiring stores, Radio Shack here in the States. I'm not sure if Radio Shack is everywhere, but it is here locally. So yeah, those are my moonlights. Any questions at all, please feel free to ask. Like I said, if I need to reshoot this video, I will be more than happy to. It's 110 degrees outside right now. I'm hot. I'm sweating, and I need to get back into the air conditioning. So yeah,
If you catch this video on YouTube and you want to see more DIY projects like it, come over and check us out at diyfishkeepers.com. Our resident expert over there, Waru Joey, has set us up a pretty good home. So there's plenty of knowledgeable people there, and we can get pretty much anything answered that you need answered. Thanks, guys. Bye.